Emisión.net.
Hello again and welcome to Letter from England, broadcasting for the Evangelical Alliance and for AC Press. These are confused but nonetheless exciting times for Christians in Great Britain. Pagan pressure applied in the name of tolerance and avoiding offence to Muslims and other faiths on public displays of Christianity and anything even smacking of Christianity, well, perhaps smacking isn't the best word to use, as that's also virtually banned in politically correct modern Britain. But pagan pressure on Christianity is increasing, and yet Christianity is on the front pages of the newspapers as never before. Nadia Oweda, a 55-year-old Christian, was placed on unpaid leave in October for refusing to hide a small cross which she wore on a necklace, as this broke the regulations on jewellery of her employers, British Airways. She was allowed to wear it beneath her uniform, but that wasn't good enough for Oweda, from Coptic Egyptian background, where the cross is an important visible symbol. Her case aroused such a groundswell of sympathy because the country at last woke up to the discrimination faced by Christians, but not by those of minority religions. Muslim veils seem to be perfectly acceptable in modern Britain, but not the Christian cross. Where had the British Christian heritage gone? Not only that, but news came from Morocco, a mainly Muslim country, that the national airline there had banned the veil from employees who dealt with the general public. Well, since Oweda's case hit the headlines, the debate over the veil in Britain has actually moved on, and there is now considerable opposition to its being allowed in public places. And indeed, a Muslim teacher has recently lost her job for refusing to remove it whilst in the classroom. Yet British Airways thought differently. The cross could not be shown, as it violated their rules on uniform for their 34,000 employees worldwide. But they didn't reckon with the huge wave of sympathy and support that this shy 55-year-old lady would generate. Faith and prayer, of course, move mountains, and although BA were eventually toppled on economic grounds, God moves in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. A huge amount of public support was generated for Oweda, including MPs of all persuasions and religious beliefs or none, Anglican and Catholic bishops, and perhaps most significantly, many users of British Airways, showing the enormous social opposition to the company's measures. The 100 or so MPs who supported Oweda themselves account for thousands of BA air miles a year, and by refusing to fly with the national carrier, threatened to cause not only considerable loss to the airline, but also quite an amount of embarrassment as well. One daily newspaper, which carried the story on its front page for several successive days, bemoaned the silence of the Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams, in the debate, even though the Archbishop of York, John Sentamu, had intervened. Eventually Williams was forced to speak, and his participation might well have been decisive. His position seems to have persuaded the airline to alter its uniform policy, when the Church of England threatened to sell its shares in the company with a value of around 14 million euros. In other words, BA may play with the things of faith, but not the things of finance. Oweda, who comes, as we've said, from a Christian family of Coptic origin, had refused to leave her post where she deals with the public and accept a behind-the-scenes post which British Airways offered her. She expressed her great relief at the outcome of her case, and so should the entire British Christian community. The next battle will not be long in coming. Indeed, this week news comes from Zaragoza in Spain of a state school which has decided to ban Christmas celebrations. It's often been said that what happens in Europe today happens in Spain, or will happen in Spain tomorrow. And this is certainly the case of this politically correct campaign to oust religion in general and Christianity in particular from the public sphere. It's also the latest step in a state-imposed laicism which is becoming the new religion in Spain. It's interesting that the governors of the school in Zaragoza alleged two reasons, perhaps in anticipation that people would not find their arguments particularly strong. They said that they were banning any Christmas celebrations in the school, not just because people of other faiths or none might be upset or offended by a Christmas celebration, but also because there wasn't enough space. Was that true in previous years? It's interesting that last year's decision to ban carols with any religious content evidently were the thin end of the wedge. It's also notable that in modern pagan Europe, and in this case modern pagan Spain, the celebration of such festivals as Halloween is perfectly acceptable for the politically correct brigade, and the school in Zaragoza seems quite able to find the necessary space to celebrate Halloween. Any thoughts on that might offend those of other beliefs? Perhaps Christians should be standing up to complain about Halloween being celebrated in schools. Now there's a thought. Thank you for listening to Letter from England, once again broadcasting on emission.net. Goodbye for now.
Emisión.net